today's lesson, we will look at the attributes of two-dimensional figures. When we talk about attributes, it is a way to describe figures. First, we will look at some quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals are polygons with 4 sides and 4 vertices. And if we look at the picture here, it has several different examples of quadrilateral shapes. When we start to describe the shapes, you may hear the term vertex. And the vertex is the angle or where 2 sides meet. So if you look here at the rectangle, you can see the arrow pointing to the corner of the rectangle where the 2 sides meet. So then we follow up with talking about sides. And the sides are the edges of the figure. So if you see here, you see the rectangle where it has 4 vertex or vertices, because right here is a corner. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if we also count the sides, we can see there's 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. So a rectangle would be considered a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides and 4 vertices. So in your journal, you will see where we have already glued in this chart. And in today's lesson, we will be filling the chart out, talking about our quadrilaterals, and we will be drawing different pictures of the different quadrilaterals and talking about the parallel sides, the number of equal length sides, and the number of right angles for each shape that we have listed here. So let's go ahead and get started. And our first quadrilateral that we will be talking about is a trapezoid. So as you can see here, this is an example of a trapezoid. We can see that the trapezoid has 4 corners or vertex, because we have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and it also has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's talk about some more ways to describe this trapezoid. If we look, we can see that the top and the bottom of the trapezoid is parallel to each other because they are both running horizontal, and at no point in time will these lines ever cross each other. But if we look at the sides of the trapezoid, we cannot say that they are parallel, because if we continue these lines out, they will eventually cross. So a trapezoid has 1 set of parallel lines. We can also look at this figure and see that the sides are equal length. But if we look at the top and bottom, we can tell that the bottom is clearly longer than the top. So a trapezoid has 1 set of equal lines. So the top and bottom lines are parallel, but the side lines are not parallel. The top and bottom lines are not the same length, but the side lines are. Trapezoids do not always have same length sides. So that's something to remember for future reference, that trapezoid sides are not always the same, although this example does show the lengths the same. So if we click back, and the trapezoid has 0 right angles. So if we click back to our chart that you have in your journal, I want you to draw a picture of the trapezoid that we were discussing. And then we can also go ahead and fill in that this trapezoid has 1 pair of parallel lines, which is the top and bottom, but the sides are not. So that gives us our 1 pair. And then if we look at the box of number of sides of equal length, we know that our sides are equal length, but our top and bottom sides are not. So we have one pair of equal length. And then if we look at the number of right angles, we see that we have 0 because none of the corners have a 90-degree angle giving us the right angles. Okay, I'll give you just a minute to fill out your chart, and then we will go to our next shape, which is the rhombus. And here is an example of a rhombus. Okay, so let's talk about parallel and equal length sides. So if we look at this figure, we can see that the sides are both parallel to each other, and the top and the bottom lines are parallel. So that will give us, on our rhombus, 2 sets of parallel lines, the top and the bottom, and then the side lines are parallel. If we look at the picture, we can see that all 4 lines are the same length. And then if we look at our corners are not 90-degree angles. So therefore, we do not have any right angles. So just a recap of what we just discussed, the top and bottom lines are parallel, the side lines are parallel, and all 4 lines are the same length. The rhombus has 0 right angles. So going back to our chart, we can draw our picture of our example rhombus. We can fill in that it has 2 pairs of parallel sides, 4 sides of equal length, and 0 right angles.